I can remember as a 6-year-old little boy leaving my best friend behind, my cousin Fat. As my family and I boarded a Greyhound bus, we were leaving behind the warm sun and the prestigious beaches for the cold concrete jungles of Buffalo, New York, otherwise known as the Perry Projects. On that long 3-day journey, I stood out the window, looking ahead, and for the first time in my life, my eyes locked in on something I had only seen on TV commercials. In those commercials, children my age were always with their families, big smiles, looking happy. That image became the ideal version of childhood to me. And that image was none other than the famous golden arches, glowing in the midnight sky. What felt like a dream suddenly became real because I can actually see these places. And we would pass one after another. And the bus, it just never stopped. Never once did we pull into a McDonald's to experience the happiness I saw other families have. But deep down, I knew, even if the bus had stopped, we couldn't afford to eat there. That golden arch would only remain a dream. Growing up in what would be considered a big family by today's standards was just the average in the Black community I come from. I come from a family of 8, and we grew up poor. Our parents, they didn't have the means to buy us food. And the gift to me was my older sister Lisa's torn hand-me-down Adidas. Christmas presents came from charitable families, and we never had a family vehicle. We never attended family functions, and we never stepped inside of a restaurant together as a family. But we had one thing, something money could never buy. We had togetherness. We were happy as kids. I never felt a sense of lack, and we had a home-cooked meal every single night. And if one of us got sick, there wasn't a doctor's visit. My mom didn't have the time nor the money for us to be getting all sick. Instead, she turned to her natural fail-proof remedies. Lemon in every drink, eucalyptus oils, and my favorite, her homemade chicken noodle soup. My mom, she was always on call. She was playing both doctor and chef. She was my natural healer. On my father's side of the family, I experienced the total opposite. They had money, and their solution to poverty was hard work. And that's easy for them to say when your cousin is 6'10", NBA All-Star Cliff Robinson, playing in the '93 finals against the likes of Michael Jordan, and these were problems to them. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, if you make $26,500 or less annually, you fall under the federal poverty line. My father was a typical American dad, working tirelessly to keep the lights on and the roof over our head. And meanwhile, my mom stayed home, raising us with the help of government assistance, i.e. food stamps. If you're over the age of 35 and you survived the struggle, then you remember the original color-coded food stamp. Raise your hand. That was our life. Food stamps were prevalent in my neighborhood. And just within the last 20 years, there were certain stores, food stamps wouldn't get you in the door. In 2004, EBT was implemented in all stores. In 2005, the New York Department of Agriculture developed a program to accept EBT in all farmers markets. In 2014, a farm bill passed to accept SNAP benefits for online purchases. And prior to 2021, Whole Foods grocery stores didn't accept online EBT purchases. And it was only recently they began to do so. And in 2024, Thrive Markets became the first online grocery store to accept food SNAP EBT benefits by the USDA for organic and natural products. On the contrary, food stamps could buy you all the highly processed, sugar-loaded junk food snacks that we crave as kids. The scary reality, these are the foods studies show raise blood pressure, increase a risk of heart disease, spike blood sugars and diabetics, and are directly linked to obesity. These physical conditions are tied to mental health issues, emotional imbalances, and depression. In short, these foods have no nutritional value, and they do nothing to support our growth. Furthermore, our communities are overrun by food deserts. A food desert is a neighborhood where residents have limited access to affordable, healthy foods, especially fresh fruits and vegetables. These are statistically higher in low-income and urban neighborhoods. The turning point. Growing up in a place where there were no local heroes, no success stories, it was hard for a boy like me to dream big. Everywhere I looked, I saw single mothers and children suffering from obesity. Grandmothers like Miss Audrey up the block, stuck on the couch in her golden years, insulin dependent, and unable to use her legs due to inflammation from poor nutrition and a cocktail of 7 daily medications. Diabetes claimed my uncle's life. But my aha moment came when my own mother, due to years of poor diet, suffered high blood pressure, heart disease, and 2 strokes that left her paralyzed on the entire left side of her body. In that moment of awareness, I had an epiphany. I remember the summers my father would take me to Connecticut to visit our rich cousin, Cliff Robinson. There I stayed in a 10-bedroom mansion, attended basketball camp, and woke up to my Aunt Helen preparing a healthy breakfast. A spread of whole grains, smothered fish, fresh fruits, and vegetables. That contrast reminded me I've seen both sides. I've tasted the best and the worst of what food has to offer. And I realized I didn't have to let my circumstances dictate my future. Being broke is temporary, but being poor, that's a mindset. What really created this shift inside of me was one word: access. The difference between Miss Audrey in the projects and Aunt Helen in the hills wasn't geography, it was access. I remember thinking how unfair it was that not everyone had access to what my rich relatives had. But in hindsight, I also realized, despite our lack, we had something they didn't have inside that massive mansion I once stood in. What we had inside of our little 3-bedroom subsidized apartment that my mother created was a village. Every night, we ate together, we laughed, we shared stories. Studies are now showing that eating together increases cortisol, improves emotional well-being, and boosts happiness. In those moments, we were rich. And this became our calling. Those experiences inspired me to become a chef. I didn't have to look far for inspiration because I was trained by the best chef in the world, my mother. She could make bad food taste amazing. But I made it my business to take good food and make it exceptional while honoring and keeping the family traditions I was raised on. I couldn't practice bringing my mother's recipes to life inside the restaurants I worked in, so I left the restaurant industry and I went into community service. That's when I found it, the nonprofit Yes Chef Village. Inspired by my mother's influence and my childhood stories and a desire to curate better food experiences, Yes Chef is an acronym for Youth Enrichment Services, Children's Healthier Eating Foundation. Our goal is to enrich the lives of single mothers, children, and families in low-income communities and neighborhoods with better food education and culinary demonstrations. We teach kids to write grocery lists, shop for ripe versus unripe produce, identify quality ingredients by reading labels. I often share my food philosophy to help accomplish this. The green, clean, lean, and protein diet. It's my favorite. When you eat green, you're eating natural food. When you eat clean, you're eating pure food. When you eat lean, you're eating lighter food. And when you eat protein, you're eating life that was honored. These simple tools sparked my own journey into holistic nutrition. The things I once thought were invaluable became valuable, and the things I gave no value to, I now value the most. The big question is, though, what happened to our values? I didn't just ask myself this question. I saw answers, and I looked to the people and the chefs who inspired me as a chef and the models that they left behind, like Anthony Bourdain. Here's what I discovered. Anthony believed in doing 3 things as a chef. Number 1, tell the best stories. Number 2, bring people together. Number 3, understand what makes us who we are in spite of our cultural differences. Yes Chef Village became my own version of Anthony's Parts Unknown. I've traveled to places like the Amazon rainforest, the Costa Rican jungles, the Caribbean islands, and all throughout the temples of Asia. And I was shaped as a person by this quest, but I was molded into a chef by the stories told, sitting at the table of powerful cultural meals. That's how our village suppers were born, bringing together rich and poor, locals and foreigners at these tables, and no one knows who's sitting across the table from them. And that's the point, because we bring dignity back to people who felt left out, just like I did with every McDonald's we passed by. As I was inspired by Anthony Bourdain, I want to invite you to become a traveler and not a tourist. Learn how different cultures use food as an act of love and an act of service. Next, invite others. Eat with the familiar stranger. It has been statistically proven shared meals with strangers tend to turn into longer lasting connections. And lastly, invite us. Host a village supper. Let us build safe spaces that bring people together, and let's nourish stronger, healthier, vibrant, and thriving communities again.
Is it sweet enough?
That's very good.
We're using that tea with the turmeric and the ginger to make our golden milk. So welcome everyone. Tonight's demo, we're going to make a delicious and refreshing drink. It's called golden milk, and we're going to make it in kind of like a latte with ice, and everyone's going to get a chance to taste that. My brother Chef Omaka here, we're partnering together tonight. So I'm going to kind of set up the digestion with something with herbs and spices that will support the delicious dinner. You don't have to get a coconut, but you can. Get yourself some coconut water and coconut milk, or you could, this is actually a mature coconut. You see how the outside has that brown? That means it's a little older. And then inside, you'll see that coconut meat stick. You take the top off, okay? It's pretty easy, right? And just compost that right into the food forest. Okay, and then it has kind of a little hole, and that's the soft spot. And we're gonna pop it out, which you get that little cork. There's your wine bottle cork. And there's your fresh coconut water.
Like tomorrow.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna add that coconut milk. So we have about, let's see, what is it, 2 cups of coconut water. So we'll add about 2 cups of coconut milk. Okay, and then, what makes it golden milk?
Turmeric.
Turmeric, exactly. Turmeric is one of the, in the family of, do you know what plant family it's in?
I'm probably going to say like the ginger family.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes.
As you can see, that's just an introduction from how we open with our ceremonies for our village suppers when we bring those communities together. Conversations around food produce safe environments. Safe environments produce healthy conversations. Healthy conversations create healthy ideas. Healthy ideas produce healthy people. Thank you.